Hello student, once again welcome to honors classes. Let's start today's video with the second part of the first chapter of your biology, that is reproduction in organism. In my previous video I have discussed the first part of the chapter, so in this video I am going to discuss the second part of the chapter. So in the previous class we have discussed about the asexual reproduction, and today I am going to discuss about the first part of the sexual reproduction. Since sexual reproduction is a long process, so in this video I will discuss the half part, and in my coming video I will continue complete the sexual reproduction. So let's proceed the video. So sexual reproduction, this first para I have given from you directly from your Ncert book. Sexual reproduction involves the formation of male and female gametes either by the same individuals or by different individuals of the opposite sex. These gametes fuse to form the zygote, which develop to form the new organism. It is an elaborate, complex and slow process as compared to asexual reproduction. Because of the fusion of male and female gametes, sexual reproduction results in offspring that are not identical to the parents or among themselves. So in this para, the summary of this para is that first point you have to remember, sexual reproduction means the fusion of male and female gametes. Means when one male gamete and one female gametes fuse, they form a single structure which is known as zygote, and then the sexual reproduction takes place, and then from this zygote the new offspring will be produced. In asexual reproduction, from single parents offsprings are formed, but in sexual reproduction, one male gamete come from the father body, female gametes come from the mother's body, then a single structure is formed which is called zygote, and then the zygote is transformed into the offspring. Next point, important point given in the para is that offsprings are not identical with their parents or among themselves. Why? Since in the zygote, means half character come from the male gametes, means from father, and half character come from the mother. That's why the offspring will get 50% characteristic from the father and 50% characteristic from the mother. And as a result, the offsprings are not identical with their parents or with their sibling. They have similarities with their parents or siblings, but not Xerox copy of their parents or sibling as takes place in asexual reproduction. And why this difference come? This difference come due to the process of crossing over. Crossing over means what? Suppose this is the chromosomal arrangement within the zygote. This one come from male gamete and this chromosome come from the female gamete. It means in the offspring, half character will come from father and half character come from mother. And during meiosis, means reduction cell division, because in sexual reproduction always reduction cell division takes place. You have already got in your class 11 cell division chapter. So during meiosis cell division, these paired chromosome exchange their part. Look, this mother, this pair of this chromosome and this arm of this chromosome will cross over and they exchange their parts. As a result, some variation takes place, because in father the whole chromosome structure is suppose purple and in mother whole structure is green, but in offspring their arrangement of chromosome will be like this. Means this purple chromosome has some green part and this green chromosome has some purple part. It means they exchange their parts. As a result, variation will seen in the offspring, and this process is called crossing over. So if question comes, why variation takes place in offspring in sexual reproduction, in single line you have to write that due to the process of crossing over. Next point, this is para from your Ncert book. All organisms have to reach a certain stage of growth and maturity in their life before they can reproduce sexually. The period of growth is called juvenile phase. It is known as vegetative phase in plants, and this phase is of variable duration in different organisms. So in this para, the summary is that the first phase of life cycle of an organism is called vegetative phase. Means the life cycle in the first phase of the life of sexually reproduced organism is called vegetative phase or juvenile phase. It means from birth to the organism from birth to till they get their, means they become eligible for sexual, means when they attain the sexual power, then that till that stage, means from birth to sexual, become sexually mature, that stage is called vegetative phase in case of plant, and in case of animal this phase is called juvenile phase. Means vegetative phase or juvenile phase means organism is not attaining their sexual stage. Then next stage is called reproductive phase. Reproductive phase means the time period when the plant and animal attain reproductive maturity. Means at this stage they become eligible for reproduction, and that stage is called reproductive phase. And sorry, last phase is called senescence phase, and it is the last phase. Means this phase start after the reproduction stop until death. In this phase the body shows symptoms of aging. It goes on the path of deterioration, and some part and organ of it tend to get damaged. It means the life cycle has three phases. First one is vegetative phase, second is reproductive phase, and third phase is called senescence phase. Vegetative phase means the phase when the organism are not become mature to reproduce. Then when it become mature for reproduction, that is called reproductive phase. And the last phase is when they lost their reproduction capacity, and from that stage to death time, that's last phases is called senescence phase. Next, this para is again I am giving directly from your Ncert book. In this para, some line is given that suppose some plant means some flower throughout the year and some other show the seasonal flowering plants, the annual and biennial type. Again given that few plants exhibit unusual flowering phenomena, some of them such as bamboo species. You please remember this line, bamboo species flower only once in their lifetime and generally after 50 to 100 years. So in this para, the summary is only given that there are different types of plants. Some plants are called annual plants, some plants are called biennial plants, and some plants are called perennial plants. What is annual plants? The plants which reproduce once in a year, means their life cycle finish within a year. Means within the year they grow, reproduce, and then they come to death, and that is called annual plant. Example is rice, wheat, etc. Then biennial plant means reproduce once in 2 years. Means for reproduction, then after first 2 years they are become eligible for reproduction. That type of plant is called biennial plant. Example is cabbage. Perennial plant, and perennial plants means some plants have the long life cycle, means they required at least vegetative phases more than 1 year. Means after 1 year they become eligible for given reproduction. So that type of plant is called perennial plant. Perennial plant is of two types. First one is monocarpic, reproduce only one time during their lifetime. This type of plants reproduce only one time. That type of plant is called monocarpic. Whereas polycarpic means when the plant which can reproduce many times. Suppose mango tree, like that. Next para, this para is again given from your Ncert book. So in this para, mainly two terms look, this ostrich cycle and menstrual cycle is given. So here the name of this cycle is reproductive cycle. So summary of this cycle is that the female placenta of placental animal exhibits cyclic changes in activities of ovaries and accessory glands as well hormone during the reproductive phase. And means the female placental means the female who is reproduced by sexually during their reproductive phase, they exhibit cyclic changes in activities of ovaries. Means some changes takes place in cycle wise, some changes takes place in the ovaries and gland which are accessory glands, means which are related for reproduction. And depending upon these changes, within the female there are two types they are divided into two types. First one is ostrich cycle. These occur in non-primates, like example is cow, sheep, rat, deer, dog, tiger, etc. Like this type of animals, in female of these animals, the cycle is known as ostrich cycle. So here what happened? The body temperature increase at the time of ovulation. Second point you have to remember, it consists of a short period of ostrich or heat. Means ovulation period is very hot. Very short, and during that period their body temperature increase. It is take almost 12 to 24 hours in cow, followed by an ostrich or passive period. Means only they become active. Means ovulation period is only for 12 to 24 hours. Next, blood does not flow in this cycle, and the broken endometrium is reabsorbed. Means in reproduction in human beings, you will discuss about what is endometrium. So here you just remember that endometrium is the inner lining of the uterus. So when after the ovulation takes place, the endometrium will be break down. But in this type of animal, the broken endometrium is reabsorbed. They are not released out from the body. That's why no bleeding takes place in this type of animal. And female permits copulation only during the ostrich period. So these 4 points you have to remember for ostrich cycle. Next, menstrual cycle. It occurs in monkey, apes, and human beings. And here cycle consists of 3 phases: menstrual phases, polyperative phases, and secretory phases. So you have to remember these 3 phases. Then blood flow in the last few days of the cycle. Why blood flow? Because the broken endometrium, means after the ovulation, when the inner lining of the uterus break down, that broken endometrium is passed out during the menstrual. Since it is passed out from the body, that's why that time bleeding takes place. Female does not permit copulation during the menstrual phases of the cycle. So this point you have to remember for menstrual cycle. So frequently question are come difference between ostrich cycle and menstrual cycle. So then you write these points. Next, this para is given from your Ncert book again. Event in sexual reproduction. In this para, it is only given that the events of sexual reproduction, means the steps of sexual reproduction. And in this para, it is given that the sexual reproduction has 3 phases mainly. Pre-fertilization, fertilization, and post-fertilization. So what are the phases? So first go for the pre-fertilization event. This page is from Ncert book. This includes all the events of sexual reproduction prior to the fusion of the gametes. The 2 main pre-fertilization events are gametogenesis and gamete transfer. So pre-fertilization means before fertilization. Fertilization means fusion of male and female, and post-fertilization means after the formation of the zygote, what takes place. So in pre-fertilization means before the fusion of male and female gametes, 2 steps takes place. First, for the fusion gamete had to be formed. That process is called gametogenesis. And second, gamete transfer. So male gametes are formed in male body, whereas female gametes are formed in female body. So in gamete transfer, the male gamete is transferred to the female body so that they can fuse, means fertilization takes place. So pre-fertilization, there are 2 events you have to remember. First one, gametogenesis. Second one is gamete transfer. So first come for the gametogenesis. So gametogenesis refers to a process of formation of 2 types of gametes, male and female. Gametes are haploid cell. In some algae, the 2 gametes are so similar in appearance that it is not possible to categorize them into male and female gametes. So gametogenesis means what? In simple language, you can just remember gamete means gamete. Genesis means formation. So the process of formation of gamete is called gametogenesis. And these gametes are always haploid. Always remember, gametes are always haploid because when they fuse, they form zygote, and then the zygote will be diploid in character. And some algae has gametes, meaning some algae, the male gamete and female gamete, you cannot differentiate from each other. And that type of gamete is called homogamete. So gametogenesis definition notes you write like this. It is the process of formation of male and female gamete. Gametes are haploid cells which may be similar or dissimilar in structure. In algae, both gametes are similar in structure and called as homogametes or isogametes. So here this is the diagram of homogametes. Look here, one is male, one is female, but you cannot differentiate. So this type is called homogametes or isogametes. In some, this is this is female and this is male. Female is larger, male is smaller. This is called anisogametes. And here this is female, this is non-motile, and this is male, this is motile, and this is found in human beings. So that is given in here. In higher organisms that reproduce sexually, two morphologically distinct gametes are formed called the heterogametes. So this is the example of, means 15b, this is the example of heterogametes. C is also example of heterogametes, and 15a diagram is the example of homogametes. Male gametes are called antherozoids or sperm, and the female gametes are called ovum or egg. Next, go for the next page. So this page is given in your Ncert book, sexuality in organism. Sexual reproduction in organisms generally involves the fusion of gametes from two different individuals, but this is not always true. So in some cases, it means a self-fertilization and cross-fertilization. In the second chapter, you are going to discuss about that is self-fertilization. So here you just remember that sexuality means in sexual reproduction, sometimes within the same plant or organisms also reproduction takes place. So, and in this para, the homotelic, monoecious, heterotelic, dioecious, pistillate, staminate, this term are given, means definition of this term is given. So, as a summary, I am just giving you here, you can easily remember. In fungi and plants, homotelic or monoecious term are used. Why? To denote the bisexual condition, or heterotelic and dioecious are used for unisexual, means heterotelic, and monoecious means homotelic. You just remember that. In flowering plant, the unisexual male flower is staminate, that is bearing stamen, while the female is called pistillate, means bearing pistil, means if the flower bear only single, either male flower or female organ, then they are called unisexual. In animal species which possess both male and female reproductive organ in the same individual is called bisexual or hermaphrodites. It means there are some animal where in the same body both male organ and female organ is present. That type of animal is called either in case of flower, means flower which bear both male and female organ is called bisexual. And if the animal body bear both male and female organ in the same body, that is called hermaphrodite. So bisexual flower example is suppose China rose, maximum flower bisexual generally. Then hermaphrodite example is earthworm, spawns, tapeworm. These are the cockroach. These are the example or hermaphrodites. Means in this type of organism's body, both in the same body, male and female both organs are present, and both having either male or female reproductive organ are called unisexual. Next, pistillate flower. Only pistil is present only pistil is present in flower, means only female organ is present in flower, that is called pistillate flower. And if the male organ is present in the flower, that type of flower is named as staminate flower. So you remember pistillate flower or staminate flower. Next, this diagram is given. So here, look, this is the structure of earthworm. Look, this is testis. Testis means male organ. This is ovary. It means ovary means female organ. So in the body, both male and female organ is present. And in this plant also, look, in this plant, this is an example of Kara. It is an example of algae. Here, both this Oogonia means female sex organ. This is Antheridium means male sex organ. Means in the same plant, both male and female sex organ is present. That's why it is the example of bisexual plant. Next, pre-fertilization means before fertilization. So the event of sexual reproduction which occur before fertilization are called pre-fertilization. Already I have explained. So if one mark definition comes, you just write like that. Next, pre-fertilization events are gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Gametogenesis means the process of formation of gametes is called gametogenesis. And gametes are specialized haploid cell are of two types, male gamete and female gamete. When both the gametes are similar in appearance, that these cannot be distinguished, these gametes are called homogametes or isogametes. Example is algae. Already I have explained. Still I am showing you the notes here so that you can easily remember or understand. So this is the example of homogametes. When both the gametes are dissimilar in appearance, the gametes are called heterogametes or anisogametes, and the male gametes is called enterozoites or sperm, and the female gametes is called egg or ovum. Example is human or higher plants. Look, this diagram is given. Already I have explained. Still, once again, I am giving you the notes so that you can easily remember. If the parent is haploid, the parent produces gamete by meiosis. Example, Monera or algae. And if the parent is diploid, the parent produces gamete by meiosis, means reduction division, to produce the haploid gamete. Example, human beings and higher plants. Question may come, give an example where the parents are haploid. You have to give the example of algae. If diploid parents, you have to give the example of human beings or higher plants. In diploid organism, the gamete mother cell which undergo reduction division or meiosis to produce gametes are called meiocyte. So you remember the term meiocyte. What is meiocyte? Means the gamete mother cell which are produced by reduction division is called meiocyte. As a result, at the end of the meiosis, only one set of chromosome gets incorporated in each gamete. Hence, the gamete become haploid. Human beings are diploid organisms, have 46 chromosomes. So the gametes contain 23 from father and 23 from mother. As a result, when 23 from father and 23 from mother fuse, as a result, the zygote will become 46 and offspring will get 46 number of chromosomes. Next stage of first pre-fertilization is gamete transfer. The process of bringing together the male and female gamete for fertilization is called gamete transfer, because male gamete is produced within male body and female gamete is produced within the female body, but they have to come together for fusion. That's why, and the process by which the male gamete is come near to the female gamete, that is called gamete transfer. In majority of organisms, male gametes are motile and female gametes are non-motile, while the algae and fungi, both types of gametes are motile. In bryophyte and pteridophyte, gametes are transferred through water. In seed-producing plants, pollens are transferred to the stigma by pollination process. In bisexual self-fertilizing plant, anther and stigma are located close to each other, and so transfer pollen grain is easy. Example is pea. Means in bisexual, both the male and female organ grow side by side so that easily the pollen can be transferred to the stigma. In cross-pollinating plant, the agent like wind, insect moving for collecting nectar for the flower help in the pollination. So this was for today, and where today we have discussed about the pre-fertilization stages. In my next video, I will discuss about the fertilization and post-fertilization event. So till then, you go through the videos properly, write the notes, and you go through your Ncert books also. And still, if you find any doubt, please comment me so that I can clear your doubts. Okay, then thank you.